They'll make sure your AC is running at its best for these hot summer months. Plus, customers who bought a used vehicle from Hurls get a lifetime warranty and reduced oil change prices. So get your appointment scheduled today by calling 785-890-0000. That's 890-0000 and ask for Dave. You're sure to get one of them.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
Summertime is here, and so are your local Hoover Lumber Ace hardware stores with anything and almost everything you need for these warm days. Give your place a new look with Benjamin Moore paints. Keep your lawn looking its best with mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Craftsman, Toro, and Ego. And they still have that amazing selection of outdoor grills from Traeger and Weber, plus the popular flat-top Blackstone griddles. Find it all and much more at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Colby and Goodland, open every day but Sunday.
Hi, this is Stephanie Dole with F&B Bank. At F&B, we offer many different types of deposits accounts to help you achieve your financial goals. Whether it be personal checking or savings, business checking account, or a variety of CD options, we're here to help. Stop by our bank directly east at the post office in Goodland or call 785-890-2000 to begin working with me or another F&B Bank team member. F&B Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, Josh at Oakley Ag Center, your Case IH dealer.
Optimize your yield with Case IH Axial Flow Combines at Oakley Ag Center. From header to spreader, Axial Flow's industry-leading innovations put higher quality grain in the tank and more profits in your pocket. Get the capacity you need with easy adjustment options to match your crop and field condition, all while minimizing potential grain loss. Take control of your harvest and rethink your productivity.
Call or stop by Oakley Ag Center, Colby Ag Center, or Hoxie Implement, your Northwest Kansas Case IH dealers.
Get ready to rock at the Grinnell After Harvest Festival, Friday, July 19th, with the Sunset Center.
It ain't a party till the beer's gone. Oh, no.
Admission is free for this exciting event. The Grinnell After Harvest Festival, Friday, July 19th, with live music from the Sunset Center.
And we all had a plan for leaving, where we rode right in here. Ain't it how we don't even care? Guess what just showed up to
The Grinnell After Harvest Party Concert is brought to you by the Grinnell After Harvest Festival Committee in WKS Radio and these great sponsors: Outdoor Bank, Nutrient Ag, American Implement, Great Western Tire, S&M Repair LLC, Pioneer Feed Yard, SNT, Western Plains Energy, Mitchens, Oakley Ag Center, and 5-Star Ag Pioneer Seed.
Also a big thank you to SNS Seed Cleaning and Ostmeyer Farm Seed Company.
Rise and shine. It's butt whipping time.
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
And Christian Peck-Dimit.
Do you want to keep this job? Shut up, listen, learn.
The region's only local sports talk show, discussing it all from the preps to the pros.
What time is it? Game time.
Simulcasting on AM 730 Fox Sports Tri-State, streaming online at nwksradio.net and the Rockingham app.
They are everywhere.
The Blitz is presented by the Insurance Agency, the Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
Like heading up in Vegas. That's it pretty well center field. Going back on it is Pilar leaping up. Did he make that catch? And I don't think he did. Oh, KP got it! KP got it!
That's an all-timer, Superman. 3-2 pitch is bounced up the middle. Tovar will step on second, throw to first, and get the double play.
Rock to left center! Big league debut, big league bomb! Second deck shot for Reese Hines! Welcome to the show, kid!
And he blasts that one. High in the air, deep out to center. It is gone! Way up on that hill in center field. A massive clout for Seager.
Hey, happy Tuesday morning, everybody. Glad you're with us here on the Morning Blitz. Going to be a hot one today as we make our way towards still the triple digits. It's going to be really nice to compare to what we're going to be experiencing here in a couple of days with, 100s for 3 consecutive days, pretty much starting Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. So going to be a really nice day. But glad you're joining us here on the Morning Blitz on this Tuesday, July the 9th. Broadcasting on the newly rebranded Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and, of course, AM 730 Fox Sports Tri-State. Video stream available through the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Christian looks like he's going to serve a prison sentence today with that orange on. So what's going on today?
Much like Colby, my high school, their colors were orange and black. So I've got a fair amount
meant to be.
Yeah, I've got a fair amount of apparel that still sort of crosses over.
I take it they've been running cross country since 1959.
That's true. That's true. They've been running cross country. The shirt, for those of you not watching on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream, is this bright orange NXC shirt, and I sort of got some crap in college from some friends who would. Took way too long. It was years into knowing them that you wear that orange shirt all the time. I mean, to the gym. Like, how do you ever wash it? I'm like, I've got like 5 of these. Like
5 exact ones.
Not the same, but they're all pretty similar looking, just like bright orange shirts. I think I only have like probably 2 or maybe 3 now. But
do you cut the sleeves off to go to the gym, or do you just wear a t-shirt?
It depends. I've got a couple. That have the sleeves cut off. One of them, it sort of had to happen where it was falling apart and there's like a hole in the armpit. So at that point, you just cut the sleeves off. I've got a couple that are just actual tank tops, like the shirt came with no sleeves. I like playing basketball in a tank top or something without sleeves on. I don't know, something about the shoulder motion. I'm not good enough to have anything hampering this. I'm bad even with that. I can't. It's like warming up for golf. It's like warming up for golf. I can't play cold turkey. I'm already bad enough when I warmed up. I can't sacrifice any more strokes.
Oh man, I know. I just remember growing up, if we had a workout shirt, it had the sleeves. They were off, man. And the closer you could get it cut to the collar, leave maybe a half inch to an inch is all. That's what you wanted, man.
I want to see Ross in this little spaghetti strap cutoff shirt.
I have one of those. Like Muscle Man tank tops I got from Under Armour for like free. So I have one of those. Like, definitely it's definitely not meant for me.
That's the thing is like I'll go to the gym and I'm wearing a tank top and I'm crushing some bench or whatever, and then you stand up in between sets and you see some dude that's got 200 pounds more than you and it's all muscle and he's wearing like the similar shirt and you're like, oh, maybe this is not the style for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have my sound effect up here right now, but anyway, full show ahead today. We will be we'll get to the Rockies shutout again for the 9th time this season. Some awards, though, handed out to a Rockies player. Bobby Witt Jr. says he's going to be in the Home Run Derby. And the Royals begin a series in St. Louis. Get to some baseball stuff here coming up in our 3rd segment. Our 2nd segment will be joined in studio by our Goodland Sportscaster Scholarship winner. That's Manny Gonzalez. He will join us in studio. We will talk with Manny about his time at Goodland High and his experience. Of course, he's going on to play basketball for Jay Bradley here at Northwest Tech. We'll get his thoughts on that a little bit. So look forward to having Manny Gonzalez in studio to accept his scholarship check for being our Goodland Sportscaster Scholarship winner. But, of course, today, the biggest reason that we have this show, at least in my opinion, is for football. And today it is the Big 12 football media days. They get going from Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. They will get going at noon Central, 11 o'clock Mountain, 10 o'clock Pacific, because we are in the Pacific time zone with Vegas. And the Media Days gets going today. K-State is the lone regional team that will be speaking today. Colorado and KU will speak tomorrow. But K-State speaks today. Also, Commissioner Brett Yormark speaks today, which I always find to be a fascinating listen, is because I feel like Brett Yormark, whether it's good or bad, always thinks outside the box. He's always trying to find ways to make his conference stand out. And I know a few years ago, listening to stuff, they were talking about, hey, we're going to play basketball in Mexico. We're going to play football in Mexico. We're going to go international to an extent with the Big 12 conference to try and draw more eyeballs. Because that's been the biggest thing. When they learned the news that Texas and Oklahoma were going to leave their conference and, SEC was getting more powerful and the Big Ten was getting more powerful, Brett Yormark went to work trying to find ways to keep his conference alive and keep his teams there to help raise more money for each individual university and their athletic department. And so I'm always interested to hear what Brett Yormark has, because I have a feeling he's going to have some sort of big year or something planned with his chancellors and athletic directors to raise money this year. So I'm very excited to see that. Utah and Oklahoma State also speak today. Those are considered a couple of the other big favorites in the Big 12 football media preseason poll standings. So it's a pretty good day and look forward to seeing it. And I chuckle because once Texas is gone, you can finally hold something somewhere else other than in the state of Texas, because they don't hold it over you. And so where do they go? They go to Las Vegas. Stinks for, West Virginia, having to travel that far, and Central Florida stinks for them, but it is someplace new. I really think they should probably host it in Kansas City inside T-Mobile Arena, or is it T-Mobile Arena now? Yes, I think that's it. They need to host it in Kansas City because that'd be a nice centralized location, but that's not what's going to happen, at least this year. It's in Las Vegas, probably giving a salute to your Arizona schools that joined, Arizona State. Of course, BYU was there last year, one of the further west schools. So anyway, I'm excited for Big 12 football media days. I don't know how much I'm going to catch of it today, but I'm always intrigued to see what is said, what is thought as we get. And it means that we are so close to college football. Thank God.
So close and yet so far away.
We 60 days.
That's a lot. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I feel like I gotta
will be here before
I gotta temper my expectations here, because I'm all excited about football just as much. And if you asked Ross what the point of this show is, he'd probably tell you college baseball, at certain times of the year. But
hey, it's good stuff.
Yeah, hey, I'm not knocking it, but I think that I'm also interested to see what Brett's got to say, especially after this whole All-State 12 conference and this whole fiasco of really trying to get money. And if you remember when that story first broke, they said something, the whole front office of the Big 12, that I sort of figured would be something that you didn't say out loud. But they basically came right out and said, the SEC is bringing in way more money than we are. The Big Ten bringing in way more money than we are. We are desperate to close that gap. I don't think they use the word desperate, but this is almost an exact quote. We want to close that gap. We're sort of desperate to make more money. We're going to do things like throw an insurance company's name in our conference and do some crazy stuff like that. So I'm right with Ross along the lines of seeing what sort of creativity he brings to that. Do I hate stuff like the All-State 12 conference or whatever it's going to end up being called? Absolutely. Do I loathe the idea of a private equity firm throwing $1 billion to buy a large stake of the conference? Also, yes, but it doesn't take away from the fact that as a commissioner, Brett is exactly what Ross said, very creative in terms of trying to do things to close that gap. It is also sort of funny to see the West Virginias of the world have to travel cross country. I'm also sort of intrigued to see how the Big Ten handles it, because you've got teams like Rutgers all the way on the East Coast, and then, especially with the Big Ten, teams like Oregon and Washington joining from way over there. But I'm interested to see all of the new teams and all the new stuff. I don't know. maybe you put more. I don't put as much stock into media day as you do. It feels like what you were saying yesterday, like it's talking season, like it's the prime.
Oh, it is. It's talking season.
It's prime for Coach Prime, but we'll see how everyone can really back it up in a couple of months here.
It's all about just getting the ball rolling. I mean, that's what it is. And when you're in this part of the summer where all you have when you turn on your television, if you're a sports fan, is pretty much Major League Baseball. That's what's
Summer
on
League
for the most
basketball.
part. Summer League basketball, where we can watch Bronny score 4 points. Yip-de-doo-dah day.
Hey, Jared McCain looked good last. Your boy Zach Edey looked really solid last night.
My boy.
He's your boy now.
Anyway,
he's got that old school back to the basket game. You gotta claim him, Ross.
Give me my cane. I'll show you how to play this game. But anyway, yeah, it's just the start of it, and it's talking season. I do find it funny that the Big 12 Media Days are sponsored by Totino's. Don't they make the pizza rolls?
Pizza rolls. Baby,
that's how Ross gained 20 pounds in college, was the pizza rolls from Totino's.
That was you were having a real good night in college. You maybe had some alcoholic beverages in you, and you come home at 1:30 at night. You're pounding the pizza rolls, baby.
So once again today, Brett Yormark will speak first at what is noon Central, and then about every hour or about every 20 minutes after that, I should say after an hour after Brett Yormark, then 20 minutes each time, you'll see TCU head coach Sonny Dykes, Chris Kleiman, of course, of Kansas State, Scott Satterfield of Cincinnati, Joey McGuire of Texas Tech, Kyle Whittingham of Utah in their first year of being in the Big 12 Conference, Kenny Dillingham, one of the youngest college football coaches. I think he's like 34, 35. He's my age. Head coach of Arizona State. Mike Gundy, who's the old hat there in the Big 12 Conference. I think it's his 19th season there at Okie State and has a really, really good team this year. And the consistent, I feel like one of the better coaches around, Matt Campbell at Iowa State. And he is the last one to speak today. So you'll have 7 coaches today with Brett Yormark, 8 coaches tomorrow, including Deion Sanders and Lance Leipold, who will lead off. It'll be Deion followed by Lance. Talk about two opposites of the coin there on tomorrow's deal. But besides the fact, I guess I wanted to ask this question and finish off the last 10 minutes of this segment discussing, is the Big 12 conference in football the most intriguing conference this season?
Yeah, I know you asked that question, and we're in Big 12 country, and I'm not going to knock the conference. I love the Big 12, but as a Big 10 fan, I even feel that the SEC is maybe more intriguing with Texas at the top there in Georgia, and I think Ole Miss has a real shot at it this year. The Big 12 is very intriguing. I guess it depends how you define the word intriguing, because it's maybe the most open.
See, and that's where I'm having a conversation is, which one is it most intriguing? That's why I said this season, is it the most intriguing conference as like.
That's what I'm saying. How do you, what are you going for with
You can look at it any way you want to, because I look at it as I'm just going to say, I think it is probably the most intriguing conference in the league for this reason. If you look at the SEC, you mentioned your Georgias, probably your Alabamas, the typical ones are there. Maybe Ole Miss has a chance, but you're going to see, Texas. So kind of those 4 teams that are going to be there at the end, 4 or 5 teams in the SEC. Same can be said for the Big Ten. I think the pool's even smaller. I think it's Oregon, Ohio State. I think that's who's probably going to be at the top of the Big Ten conference this year. Not to diss our teams, but that's just the facts. Those are going to be the top 2 teams in the Big Ten. But then you go to the Big 12, and you're like, well, you know what? I could see, as you look at the preseason media poll, I've said before, I think Utah is the best team, but Kansas State's going to be right there with them. So is Oklahoma State. They've got the offensive player of the year in Ollie Gordon and Alan Bowman, their quarterback, back. Kansas is back, and we all know if Jalen Daniels can stay healthy, he could be the quarterback offensive player of the year when it's all said and done. He was the preseason player a season ago. Arizona has got a great sophomore quarterback in Talifa and a couple of great wide receivers. I know they got a new head coach in Brent Brennan, but they got some good talent there in Arizona. Iowa State is fantastically coached. They've got a good running back who ran for hundreds of yards against Kansas State in the snow. And not to mention probably a future NFL tight end in Bramer. West Virginia had a great bounce back year last year underneath Neil Brown. They're back in the thick of things after he was completely on the hot seat. He really got it going. Central Florida's got KJ Jefferson, the transfer quarterback from Arkansas. He's one of the more dynamic athletes that could really cause trouble. Texas Tech is a team that people last year had in the top 4 because they thought they were going to have a great year. They didn't. Still think what Joey McGuire is doing there is building a really solid program, and I think they could always be good. Let's not forget that TCU played, in the national championship a couple of years ago? Wasn't that long ago they were playing in the national title. And then you have Colorado with Dion, Coach Prime, and his son, obviously, Shadur, who is considered to be the best quarterback in the conference. I think there are 10 to 11 teams that have a chance of keeping this race very interesting. And that's why I could see this season in the Big 12 being a season where you're going to want to tune in and watch Big 12 football, because I don't think any team is too great. I don't think any team is too terrible, which makes it super intriguing.
Yeah, if you're defining intriguing that way, I guess I'm with you there. Listen, Ross, you don't watch sports for what happens. You watch sports for what could happen. And in terms of the what could happen factor, I think there are the most possibilities in the Big 12. You're probably right. In the Big 10, as much as a Michigan fan, it's tough to admit, it's probably going to be OSU and Oregon. And SEC, as much as I think it's going to be a fun battle to watch, it's probably a 3-horse race, Georgia, Texas, and Alabama. Georgia's, Texas, and Alabama, and Ole Miss, actually. So I'll say it's a 4-man race there. But the Big 12, listen, I think you're giving too much credit to these bottom teams. I don't think Colorado has a chance, or West Virginia, or TCU, or
but my point, once again, intriguing doesn't have to do with winning. It has to do with making games very, very competitive and fun to watch as well.
I don't think they have any real chance. I think there is a difference in tiers in this conference still, as much as it is wide open. But I just think of the big conferences that we have left, the top tier of teams is the widest in the Big 12. I've got the betting odds here in front of me because Vegas always seems to know something that we don't. Kansas State and Utah are tied at the very top. I know Ross makes it seem like Utah is head and shoulders above every other team, and they are very good. And I think you didn't say. I said you made it.
They were my pick out of the
conference. I said you made it seem. I think they're going to be very good, but this is pretty reflective that they are right up there with K-State, who has a legit shot at this. Now, that gives a lot of credit to an unproven Avery Johnson that we've talked about a couple times, but regardless, this is going to be a good K-State team. It's right up there at the top of the conference. Kansas is actually third betting odds-wise to finish first in the conference. I think somehow people forget about Kansas, maybe because it just doesn't have the reputation of being a football school the way that Kansas State and Utah do, even the way that Arizona does, will be right up there in that mix as well. Iowa State, you mentioned, will be at the top. Okie State is very intriguing to me. I'm with you, I guess, that if you're defining intriguing that way, there is the most wide open plane.
I think there is the best chance for parity.
Sure. Yes, I like that. There is the best chance for parity in the Big 12. I think it's going to be a really fun conference to watch. And I think a lot of people going into this season, like you and me, who are sort of, let's say, old heads of the game and are mourning perhaps the death of the old ways and the way that conferences used to be set up, and even something as simple as the teams that used to be in this conference versus this one, and how everything sort of seemed to fall, because for a long time it was pretty similar. You know, a Nebraska would jump ship here and there, and maybe a Texas would jump from here to there a couple years later, but really it was pretty much the same teams. We haven't seen a conference explosion with the Pac-12 essentially imploding the way that we have these last few seasons before in a long time. So I think even with people mourning that, I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised at things like the parity in the Big 12 and how intriguing, I'm now loving this word, how intriguing the conference is. Yeah.
So I'm convincing you. Okay, good. I'm glad my persuasive speaking
right with
skills
you.
are working.
I'm with you there.
Like I said, anything can be put into tiers. I think there are, and by that I mean tiers and stacking tiers, not as in crying tears. But anyway, anything can be put into tiers. And
probably also
I think you're going to see, I think there's probably tier 1 is Utah, K-State, Oklahoma State, Kansas, and I think you can put in Arizona. Tier 2, probably Iowa State, West Virginia, UCF, Texas Tech, Colorado, TCU, probably in that second tier. And then you've got a third tier of Baylor, BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, Arizona State. Although I do think BYU will have a bounce back year. That to me is always one of the most intriguing storylines to follow when we see conference realignment. Being a fan of a team that went through it now over 10 years ago and still seeing it. How do new teams entering a league that has been established for many years, how do they adapt or how do they change the league? Are they good enough to change the league or do they have to adapt to the league? And so my example would be, I'll use Utah's example. Utah is a very physical team. They are a run it down your throat, play action pass with a really stingy defense. That's Utah. Whereas we know Arizona is more of a pass it around the yard type of team. They want to throw the ball a lot. They're more of a passing team, and they're a good passing team. But they're not extremely physical. They do okay defensively. And then you have, and so how do those teams stack up against teams that are established in the Big 12? Your Kansas States, which I don't know. I think we're going to see some changes possibly for Kansas State offensively, but being a big physical running team like Kansas State is, playing good defense, Kansas with that spread out offense that can put up a bunch of points with Lance Leipold and of course Jalen Daniels at the helm of that offense, all that stuff. It always intrigues me to see what teams show up and have great success first year because they're just that good, or how bad, or how do I want to say, or how much do they struggle, I should say, in that first year because the league is just, it's different, Like I remember, and I'll use the example once again because I witnessed it firsthand, but you have Nebraska that went to the Big 10, and Nebraska was on top of the world in the Big 12. They almost won the Big 12 conference going out. They lost to Oklahoma. They went to the Big 10. People picked them to finish in the Big 10 and be one of the top teams there. And they did have a couple decent years, but as the season progressed on, as the seasons, I should say, progressed on, they struggled. They were not big enough to last in the Big 10. They were built for Big 12. They were smaller. They were faster. They were not as big of a football team. And they still have really struggled to kind of figure that out, to be completely honest with you. And so that's what I'm always intrigued to see. I thought BYU would have a better year last year. They didn't. They had a bad year last year for the Big 12. So that's what I'm intrigued to see as well with the Big 12 conference. What teams come in brand new and have success and what teams falter. And what teams, because of Oklahoma and Texas leaving, become the face of the Big 12. What team is that now? I think many people would say it's probably Kansas State is the new face of the Big 12. Oklahoma State is the face of the Big 12. I think Utah deserves some love. Even though it's the first year, I think they're going to have some really good success. I think they're going to get some love. And here's one more point before I turn over to you for our final thoughts before we get to our segment end here. But don't forget, folks, the Big 12 gets a guaranteed playoff spot by winning this conference. So you win it, and I think you get a first-round bye as well because you're a conference champ.
I believe you're right.
Yeah, that 4 major conferences get that. So, hey, if you're West Virginia or you're Texas Tech, Kansas State, doesn't matter, whoever you are, you win this conference, you get a first-round bye in the college football playoff in your first year being in there in that conference. That is something that's something excited for.
Absolutely. The stakes are almost higher here with the 12-team playoff. And, hey, it's all about learning curve, baby. People, I think maybe outside of media or more casual fans like to write off things like winning experience or championship mentality. When they hear a broadcast or a reporter or someone say, well, he's been here before, they've got championship experience, they tend to say, well, screw that, it's just any other game. You tend to know more and more as a media member, as someone close to sports, that championship mentality and having done this before, having been here before, matters. I think it's exactly the same with what Ross was talking about, transferring conferences. And hey, you're not used to playing teams in the Big 12 every week. You're not used to, like when Nebraska or when these other teams certainly will come over to the Big 10. You're not used to getting punched in the mouth for 4 quarters every game. You're not used to Michigan saying we're going to run it 24 times in a row, even though we've got a Heisman finalist quarterback. We here in the Big 12 play a different brand of football. And I think Utah is picked to finish so highly because, like we said, they're a smash mouth, hard nosed team. And I think that transfers, that travels better than other styles of football, because if you want to go and pass it around the yard Arizona style, you're not necessarily going to be able to do that anywhere in the world against anyone. You line up against Kansas's 2 all first team preseason corners, you're not going to be able to do that to the same level. I think if you're Utah and you want to run it down someone's throat, you can enact that play style, that game plan anywhere. Whether it's maybe as effective or not, I don't know, but I think they're given to travel the best, and I think they're going to handle the crossover, this transfer of conferences, the best as well. But you're exactly right. It is a learning curve, and it's how steep is it really is the question going into this season.
All right, well, let's take a look. Scheduling is a huge part of it. Who gets the good schedule? Who gets the bad schedules? That'll help decide who wins this conference. But I think it is highly intriguing, and I think it is going to be the most intriguing conference to follow along possibly this year. Very, very intriguing, the Big 12 Conference, which once again, Media Days get going today in Las Vegas. All right, let's get to a break. We'll come back. Manny Gonzalez joins us in studio next. This is the Morning Blitz.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Good morning. This is Kate Thompson with the Anderson's Trade Group. Today is Monday, July 8th. And on the overnights last night, July corn lower 4 3/4 at 405 1/2. September down 7 1/2 at 403. December down 6 3/4, 617 1/4. March corn down 6 1/4 at 431 3/4. August beans down 13 1/4 on the overnights at 11:53. September down 18 3/4 at 11:07 1/4. November beans down 19 1/4 at 11:10 1/2. Chicago wheat, the September contract down 12 on the overnights at 578 1/2. December down 11 1/2 at 602. March down 12 at 620, and May down 12 1/4 at 629 3/4. Kansas City wheat, the September contract down 14 1/2 at 584 1/2. December down 14 at 602. March down 14 at 615 3/4, and May hard wheat down 14 1/4 at 622 1/2. On the stock market this morning, the Dow up $91 at 39,786. The S&P up $5 at 5,626. The Nasdaq up 7 at 20,627. Gold lower $17.50 an ounce, 2,380. Silver down 40 cents an ounce at 31.28, and crude oil down 53 cents a barrel at 82.63. Give our Colorado office call 970-744-4484.
Introducing Certain Herbicide, the latest corn innovation from BASF. It brings powerful PPO residual chemistry into a pre through early post application thanks to novel solid encapsulation technology. Apply from pre-plant to V3 and get up to 8 weeks of residual control or suppression of 79 broadleaf and grass weed species. Don't chase weeds all through the season. Attack them before they emerge with Certain Herbicide from BASF. Always read and follow label directions.
Wheat harvest is upon us, and the Farmers State Bank of Oakley would like to share this message of safety. Increased farm traffic on our country roads often causes powdery, dusty conditions. Slow down and yield to farm machinery, including those loaded trucks that are difficult to maneuver and stop. As your partner in agriculture since 1907, we know the importance of wheat harvest and ask everyone to please practice safety and good old country courtesy. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
Hey, it's Brian Haney, the voice of the Jayhawks. A two-hand follow jam is true for Josh Jackson. And you're listening to the Morning Blitz with my main man, Ross Volkmer, right here on 102.5 You Rock.
"20 minutes to the top of the hour here on a Tuesday, July the 9th. Once again, going to be a high of 88 today. Plenty of sunshine. But 64 currently the temperature outside the KKCI studios here in Goodland. We'll get to some baseball talk in just a little bit, but it's time for one of our yearly segments that we have here on the Morning Blitz. We welcome in Manny Gonzalez, who joins us. He is this year's winner of the Goodland Sportscasters Scholarship Check. He wins $1,500, voted on by our Goodland Sports sponsors. And so Manny Gonzalez is our winner. Good morning, Manny. Thank you for getting up, buddy. I know you're probably already up, but thank you for coming in today.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Hopefully Manny's dad isn't too mad at us for swiping him away. I know they're very busy this time of year. You were telling me you guys have been busy all summer with all kinds of projects.
Yep. Just whatever they tell us to do, we do for them.
He's been doing some roofing. What is it, deck, you said?
Yeah, porch, some concrete.
You've been getting lots of fresh air, right?
Yeah.
That's a little bit of everything.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he says if they ask it, we'll try and take care of it for him. But anyway, the winner of this year's Sportscaster Scholarship for Goodland is Manny Gonzalez. Manny, can you tell me, you've, in my recollection of following your high school athletic career, at least, you've always kind of been a guy that's played a lot, even as a freshman. What were the last 4 years like for you?
It was really fun, especially my teammates changed. My freshman year was crazy with Leighton and all of them. I learned a lot from them. And then still growing up, even the younger class, like Lincoln Cure, he's been a, great athlete, as we know now. But it's just fun all around, just getting along with other people.
And you've had a lot of success. Even as a freshman, you were a pretty darn good staple on the football field and on the basketball court. And to see the success, take it for example in basketball, to go from having some decent success as a youngster, a freshman, a sophomore, to then playing all the way in the state title game as a senior. Talk about that ride.
It's really crazy. Yeah, because our freshman year, I don't even know, what did we end, 7-14, I think is what we did. So it's a roller coaster for sure. You start from the bottom and then you just build up from that. So the struggles, the grind, all the practices, all the butt chewings, you just go through it all pretty much.
Manny Gonzalez in studio with us. What was this last year like as a senior? Because you start off, you were going to be one of the main staples on the football team. You get injured. You make it back in time for the basketball season, and you have a really great senior in basketball, and then you get a chance to play baseball as well to finish out there. What was the senior ride like?
Yeah, I started off a little bad. I didn't like that. It kind of broke my heart. Kind of just standing there on the sidelines watching them play, wishing I could help. But then basketball kind of lifted up my energy because of how good we are. Then baseball came. It was a struggle for sure, but it was still fun, being with Colin, especially because we've been playing since we're I don't even know, 8 years old. So
yeah, you guys are pretty tight, you and Cole Linton. Yeah. You guys have played a lot of sports together. Yeah, it was such a neat ride this year, and I'm sure from your perspective it was very up and down. Starting, of course, with the low. And how disappointing was it to miss the football season?
Very. I just remember telling myself why this year, why did it have to be my senior year? Just remember all that.
How excited were you? Because you were going to play that tailback position, and unfortunately, you didn't really only got to play a few snaps. How excited were you to have an opportunity to play that spot after being kind of that wide receiver, kind of do-it-all guy in previous years?
I was very excited. I know how to fill in some shoes for Mason Hernandez, but I was ready. You know, I had some really good people behind me, like Lincoln Cure. You know, Chayton Goodwin is a good one too. But I was ready to take it on. I was really excited. Then, you know, that happened.
Manny Gonzalez joins us here in studio. He is once again the winner of our Goodland Sportscasters Scholarship, voted on by our Goodland sponsors. What's next for you? Northwest Tech is where you've decided to go, and you'll be playing basketball for Jay Bradley, last I saw. So what was the decision behind going to Northwest Tech?
I think it was just pretty much staying home, family, you know, because I already know what I'm going to do after college and stuff. Construction with my dad, so I was like, why not just stay here, make it easier? If my basketball career gets bigger, then I'll go with it. So
what do you like about Jay Bradley and Coach Bradley?
I don't really know much about him, but he seems like a fun guy.
Coach Bradley always surprises me because I know he's a heck of a coach, but he's the most soft-spoken guy. Yeah. He's so soft-spoken, so I'm always intrigued on how he motivates his guys. He's got a way of doing it. It's just with soft tones. Yeah, going into construction, why? What do you love about doing construction, especially with your dad?
It's a lot of hands-on stuff. I like hands-on stuff. I don't like, sitting down and on a computer or something. No, I'm not trying to
No, you're fine. You're not going to diss on me. Trust me, it's okay.
No, I'm not. But yeah, I just like hands-on stuff more, like getting after it, like movement and stuff. So,
what do you like doing in your free time, if you have any? Do you have any free time?
Yeah, I do. Kind of have a lot in the afternoon. It just depends. Like usually I'll go play some basketball if my friends say, hey, come hoop. Either that or FIFA, soccer. I like to play FIFA. So
I've been watching Copa America much at all?
I was kind of watching Brazil and like Mexico and Portugal, but they all lost. So I was like, well, I don't know.
Do you have a favorite team you like to watch in any league or division?
Not really. Just kind of international more like I don't really watch the clubs and stuff. So
if Goodland had a soccer team, would you play on it?
I would have. Yeah.
Did you play a lot of soccer growing up?
Yeah, the all soccer I played was just JC, but I used to remember as a little kid, I just always messed around with the soccer ball.
No, that's cool for sure. Once again, Manny Gonzalez, he is our Sportscasters Club Scholarship winner this year. Manny, thank you so much. Thank you to your dad for sparing some time. We better let you get back out to your construction work this morning. All right, buddy. So thank you so much, and congratulations on a great career and being the scholarship winner.
Thank you for having me.
Once again, that's Manny Gonzalez joining us here in studio. He's once again Goodland Sportscaster Scholarship winner for this past year. We'll take a break, come back, wrap up the show with some baseball talk next here on the Blitz.
Midwest Energy is a cooperative, and capital credits are your share of the cooperative's net margins, or the money left over after expenses are paid. Capital credit checks are being mailed to customers in late July. If you receive a capital credit check this year, those are your share of margins earned in 2004. Check your July or August Midwest Energy bill for your annual capital credit statement. Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative, making energy work for you.
Summertime is here, and so are your local Hoover Lumber Ace hardware stores with anything and almost everything you need for these warm days. Give your place a new look with Benjamin Moore paints. Keep your lawn looking its best with mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Craftsman, Toro, and Ego. And they still have that amazing selection of outdoor grills from Traeger and Weber, plus the popular flat-top Blackstone griddles. Find it all and much more at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Colby and Goodland, open every day but Sunday.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
When you buy a new house, you might say,
"Shut the front door."
Winning.
No, seriously, shut the front door. We own this house now.
But you actually need to say,
"Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there."
That's right. The local State Farm agent is there to help you choose the coverage you need.
Welcome to my crib. No one says that anymore, but I don't care.
So just remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swift
Swiffer Power Mop. Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Keep your ride running at peak performance by scheduling an appointment with the Daves at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Hurl's has a full-service service department where they'll work on all makes and models, not just GM. They do tire repair and replacement. They'll make sure your AC is running at its best for these hot summer months. Plus, customers who bought a used vehicle from Hurl's get a lifetime warranty and reduced oil change prices. So get your appointment scheduled today by calling 785-890-0000. That's 890-0000 and ask for Dave. You're sure to get one of them.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
You're tuned in to the Morning Blitz
All they do is sit around and talk.
on 102.5 U Rock and the Rockingham app.
Thanks again to Manny Gonzalez for joining us on the program. And once again, congratulations to him on being our Goodland Sportscasters Scholarship winner. And a big thanks, of course, to all the sponsors that make that scholarship possible. And so once again, Manny Gonzalez, our winner. Quick programming note before we get to some baseball news. The rest of the week, once again, like last week, a little jumbled. Christian will be with you tomorrow. No show Thursday because of some big stuff happening inside the buildings of NWKS Radio. And then he'll be back with you on Friday. And then he'll kick off the week with you on Monday. And then I will officially be back on Tuesday. So everyone have an enjoyable couple of days without me. And you can hear Christian's melodious voice for the next few days. And talking about NBA free agency, I have a feeling it'll be a hot topic for some reason. But
I wonder
anyway,
why that is.
I don't know. Hey.
Well, we had to save it till you were gone, so you didn't have to hear us talk NBA free agency winners.
You get a lot on the FB Bank text line when NBA free agency rolls in?
I always start the show when Ross is gone with Ross is gone. We could talk about things that Ross doesn't want to talk about. Send me all the secret texts you were scared to send Ross.
Uh-huh. Well, let's see if that's all right. I don't mind talking NBA free agency every now and then if something big has happened, but I don't think there's anything that's big that's happened here as of late. Although, I mean, if we're going to quick talk on NBA, I mean, if you're Detroit, aren't you hoping that Cooper Flagg just completely that Detroit able to land Cooper Flagg because he's apparently tearing up the team in Team USA practices.
He's looking great, but no, the Pistons are going to win 82 games this year, so we don't have to worry about the lottery.
Yeah, that's a problem. You got issues there, my friend. You need to go to a hospital and get checked out. On to the diamond. Yesterday, the Rockies shut out for the 9th time this season as they lose 6-0 to the Reds in Cincinnati. They were held to just 4 hits on the night, 3 singles and 1 Ryan McMahon double last night, the Colorado lone all-star. Andrew Abbott was great for the Reds. The left-hander had struck out 8 in 7 innings of work, I should say. Ryan Feltner, though, pretty solid. He just didn't get any run support. 7 innings himself, allowed just 1 earned run on 4 hits with 6 strikeouts for Ryan Feltner. He did have 3 walks. But to say the least, it's been just a tough luck for Ryan Feltner, who's 1-8 now on the season, taking that loss. Game 2 between the Reds and the Rockies is tonight there in Cincinnati from Great America Ballpark. By the way, Rockies center fielder Brenton Doyle was named the National League Player of the Week for hitting .524 to start July. That's unbelievable. 4 home runs, 4 walks, slugging over 1.268. And that, by the way, leads the majors with that. He's one of 4 players in baseball with at least 25 extra base hits, 20 stolen bags, and 10 home runs. Brenton Doyle from Division II, shout out D2 schools, Shepherd University in West Virginia, has really been a great find for the Rockies. And I keep having these thoughts like, I'm waiting for the next I don't want to say great, but the next really solid, really good Rocky. I'm waiting for that. It was Nolan Arenado for the longest time. He was the one. And Ryan McMahon is okay, but it's not been Brendan Rodgers. So far, it's not been Ezekiel Tovar, although Tovar could be that. Brenton Doyle is this year's really good Rocky, I think. He's been good. And he's made some unbelievable catches out in center field. My gosh, he's been great.
He's only 26. I mean, he still could be that dude. 12 of 26, like you were saying, 522 this month is a little bit ridiculous. That's absolutely crazy. And it helps that, hey, the Rockies are only 3-4 this month, as opposed to, you go back to any other month and the win-loss record looks a little bit uglier. But yeah, always tough when you have the night that Feltner did to not get any run support at all, only get one extra base. But oddly enough, that's not been the story for the Rockies. Most times it's probably pretty frustrating to, have a good pitching performance, which are few and far between this season, and then to have the hitting behind him that he did.
After the day off, the Royals are in the Gateway City. They take on the St. Louis Cardinals at Busch Stadium. It's the I-70 series. Once again, that series you can listen to on AM 790 KXXX. That begins at 6:45 Central Time with first pitch. And, of course, the news yesterday as well that Bobby Witt Jr. has selected an invitation to compete in this year's Home Run Derby. Of course, he was already going to Arlington, was the 24-year-old. This year, Witt hitting .324 with 15 homers, 61 RBIs, 22 stolen bases in 92 games. Those are some really, really good numbers. That .324 batting average is amazing, considering some guys in major leagues like Michael Toglia last night batting .188. Good Lord. Nonetheless, but he actually entered Monday. He was leading the majors with 119 hits and 25 doubles. Bobby Witt Jr.
No one thought the extension was bad when he got it, but it just looks better and better every day. Even with the Royals struggling the last few weeks, he's just been phenomenal.
So good. By the way, other participants, and there will be more announced for the Home Run Derby. Phillies' Alec Boehm, who, by the way, went to Wichita State. Orioles' Gunnar Henderson, who's been really good this year. Marcell Ozuna for the Braves. And Pete Alonso, two-time champ of the New York Mets, going to compete again. He loves the Home Run Derby. And that's always fun to hear fans say, well, gosh, please don't get in the Derby. Please don't get in the Derby because you'll ruin your swing for the rest of the season. You'll stink it up. We'll see. We'll see about that. I'm excited to see Bobby Witt Jr. there. And it's in his home state. He's a Texas boy. True. So it'll be kind of cool to have that. He'll have great crowd support behind him. But there you go. Lots of news and notes from the baseball world here today.
A 3-run walk-off home run, a game-winning walk-off with a walk-off.
His second walk-off hit of the season.
In walk-off fashion, that baby's gone.
I would like to take this time to give a personal on-air thank you to the Miller family. As officially of midnight this past night, we are now a Kansas broadcasting company. For those who don't know, the Rockingham media stations that have been in these parts since, I think, 2007 were bought by Kansas Broadcasting Company. The Miller family is stepping aside, and Kyle Bauer and KBC, as I like to call them in short, is taking over the station. But a salute and a thank you to the Miller family. For those who don't know, there's been a lot of kind of behind-the-scenes turmoil with stuff going on for the past few years. But everything they've decided to step aside. They've handled it with great class. And I appreciate them so much for letting us two knuckleheads have this hour together. But an honest truth, it's been great to work for them. I hope they get to actually relax and enjoy a little bit of their retirement in the years to come. And look forward to being a Kansas Broadcasting Company product here in the coming days. So a salute to Doris and Monty and the Miller family. Thank you guys for all that you have done, and Quinn as well. Quinn Miller. We will miss you all as we take this next step here as a NWKS station. And of course, like I said, more like we mentioned, Goodland's Rocket 1025, the new name of the station. We'll have new stuff coming for KLOE in the coming weeks, so be listening to this NWKS radio station. For Christian, I'm Ross. Everyone have a great rest of the week. I'm out of here. Christian's got you the rest of the week. He'll do a great job. I'll see you back next week.